everybody, man, it's your boy Jay in the building. We is back again with another video. Okay, so Grambling State hired their new offensive coordinator, Briles, former Baylor head coach, and there has been a lot of mixed reviews. On IG, even on Facebook, even on Twitter. Like, there's been plenty of people, like, I've been in sports groups. I was in sports groups today, and I mean, look, people are people are bashing Grambling, people are bashing Hugh Jackson, people are bashing Art Briles, dragging their name through the mud, and it's like, I mean, wow, like, I knew that was probably gonna happen, but I think it's split down the middle. Now, let me say this. Now, from if we're talking strictly football, from a football perspective, this is an absolute great hire. Like, if you ask me, like, he completely turned Baylor around. Completely turned them into a powerhouse. Now, he's won over 10 games in the last 6 years that he was there. I think probably 8 years that he was there. From 2008-9 to 2015, he's won 10 games at least 4 or 5 times, won 2 conference championships. His last 3 years there, they were ranked in the top 5, and I think his last year, they were ranked number 2 at one part of the season. Like, this dude is an offensive genius. He's even coached Robert Griffin. Like, he had RG3 at quarterback. So he has himself a Heisman Trophy winner. And I am going to say this, though. It's definitely coming with a circus. And and with the offensive-minded coach like this one, I think Grambling is taking a risk because there are plenty of people who don't like this move at all. There's a lot of people who don't like this move, and if we're talking about talent, it's a great move. But if you're talking character, then there are people that are like literally scratching their heads right now. But I think this is an absolute great move. I don't see a reason why Grambling State wouldn't go after this guy, especially when he was available. And from what I was reading, especially with the whole allegations, like ever since he got fired from Baylor, like, okay, so he was getting set ready to coach at a CFL team. It was Hamilton something. It was a team in Hamilton. And he was about to coach Canada. And then when they were figuring out the allegations and they were trying to figure out what the story was, they took the offer away. So it got to a point where he had to coach in Italy. I didn't know Italy had a football team. You know what I'm saying? So he went to coach in Italy. And then I think before he took the Grambling job, he was coaching high school football in Texas, and and that team was doing pretty good. I think he was 20-6 his time there, 20-6. But it's like this guy can coach. This guy can absolutely coach. So I think it's a great move. But we have a video that we are about to be set to watch. I just found it just searching. We're not gonna watch the whole thing, but this is I think the video is called, like, this is in the title, details that prove that he shouldn't have been fired. So I found an interview. The whole video is gonna be in the description. So I fast forwarded just a little bit because he speaks about the details, and I guess it proves that he shouldn't have been fired. So we are going to listen to a little bit of it. Probably not the whole thing. It depends. So let's hear it.
So, a good outing.
Yeah, there's no doubt at all. That is that's an outstanding vibe to be able to check out. We're talking with Art Briles. Former Baylor football coach. Okay, so we had an article up at Outkick this week, and
so a good outing.
yeah, there's no doubt at all. That is that's an outstanding vibe to be able to check out. We're talking with Art Briles, former Baylor football coach. Okay, so we had an article up at Outkick this week, and we dove into a lot of the depositions and the lawsuits and everything else that has fallen down and come out since you were removed as Baylor's head football coach. And, Coach, the data is becoming pretty overwhelming that there was absolutely no reason for you to have ever lost your job. And that might, there's a lot of people out there listening right now who have only seen the headlines, and so they know that you lost your job at Baylor a few years ago, but they don't know any of the stories that have come out since then. And among those details, one of the members of the Baylor Board of Regents testified under oath in a deposition that there was absolutely no justification for you to lose your job. So I want to dive into this on a couple of different levels. First of all, how hard is it for your name to get dragged through the mud like it has been and was by the media, and know it's not truthful, but feel like there's almost no way for you to get the truth out there?
It's been extremely eye-opening, Clay. I certainly never had any idea that it would reach the level that it reached. Of course, everybody on the inside knew, what was going on. We knew the kind of program we were running, and we knew that, there were a lot of inefficiencies along the way that the Baylor University was running. Really no Title IX, no policies, no procedures, and all that. But, on the other end of it, it's just, it kind of just ran out of control. I'm a real patient person, and I kind of knew eventually that there would be some facts that would get out and help, clear my name. And really, it's not about me anymore. I mean, it's really not. It's about my grandkids. I want them just to be able to, get on the internet, look up, if they do look up me, to be able to see something that's not negative. So that's kind of where it's at. I mean, people that know me, they know the type of person I am, and they know that, that was all inflated.
So I'm reading.
Now, check this out, though. Now, even if his name is cleared, even if he had nothing to do with whatever happened, his name is forever going to be included in those allegations. He'll never shake it because it's out in the media. People are gonna forever have mixed feelings about this situation. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's just a shame that a man has to go through that. Cause look, he's 66 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's gonna forever be his legacy. You know what I'm saying? In terms of what his name being brought up instead of what he's done on the football field as a coach.
Reading from our article that was up, and I think that there's so many different interesting angles in here. But you were specifically asked if Art Briles, the head of the Board of Regents, was asked if Art Briles ever broke any rules or violated a university procedure when it came to his handling and reporting of assault allegations. And the response in the deposition is, no, sir, not that I'm aware of. Your lawyer then asked if whether you had concealed any information about sexual or domestic assaults, and the head of the Baylor Board of Regents said, no, sir, not that I'm aware of. And so when you hear those and see those statements made under oath, does it make you feel good, or is it more frustrating that it took that long for the true story to come out?
It's it's kind of, I wouldn't say happy. It's more sad and hurtful more than anything else, Clay. It's not a deal where I'm like, pumping my fist saying, all right. It's just why did it have to come to that? And that's the whole deal with me, and it's what it's been all along. I mean, let's be transparent from the beginning and get to the bottom of it and find out what's going on and deal with it. But I mean, let's don't wait after the fact and then put, statements out there that, have been notified and verified as not being true. So that's the part that's, troublesome to me. But it's not a deal where it's like I'm saying, okay, well, it's all good. Well, it's not all good. It's never going to be all good. I've been tarnished, for the rest of my life, and so have a lot of other people, and families, and that's the part that bothered me. There was a lot of people that went down with this deal that were office aides and people that just helped us out throughout the program, and the whole house was cleaned, and it's it's a shame. It's a shame for them.
Hey, he said it. His name is going to be dragged in the mud for the rest of his life. And especially, with his he has kids, he has grandkids. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to forever look at him as the guy who, like I said, this is, I don't know, sad.
We're talking to former Baylor football coach Art Briles about what I would call blockbuster revelations in a deposition that basically call into question the entire media narrative that was widely shared about why Art Briles lost his job at Baylor. Does it make you incredibly skeptical of many stories that you see in the media to have been at the center of a story like this that so many people got wrong? Are you just naturally skeptical in general of the media as a whole?
Well, I would say yes and no. I don't really blame the media because they're gonna write what they're fed,
Yeah.
And if you feed them something, then they're gonna run with it. So to me, it's not them. It was just that they weren't fed the full facts, and they were given parts of situations, and then they ran with it. And at that time, it was a firestorm, and it clearly shows how it can just taking something out of context can really get blown out of proportion. But like I said, I don't put any blame anywhere other than the fact that I think, Baylor and all of us were caught in a situation that we weren't prepared for on the national level. I think that's just the bottom line.
We're talking to Art Briles, former Baylor football coach. You weren't even allowed to be an assistant coach in the Canadian Football League because people decide, Art Briles, he represents everything that's wrong with college football. What was that like to be going to try to coach in the CFL, and then suddenly they say, hey, sorry, people are mad about you being employed here online? How did that conversation happen? And did you at that point just kind of throw your hands up and say, man, this is unbelievable?
Well, I never threw my hands up, Clay, but to answer your question, it just emphasizes how strong the media can be, not just in America, but, out of the country. And, June Jones and I are great friends, and he brought me up there and tried to hire me, and they wouldn't let him do it. So, I was gonna, I wanted to coach football, and that's kind of what all I've done all my life. My dad was a high school coach, and that's all I've ever been around. So I fortunately found the deal over in Italy, which was just unbelievable, and stayed over there for a little over a year, had a good time, and then
have not gotten to go to Italy yet. I've heard it's an amazing place, and I'm excited at some point to get to go over there and visit. Okay, so you come back stateside, but before you come back stateside, part of the problem with the way the media covered this story was the Wall Street Journal wrote a piece that was absolutely hammering you, arguing that there was some 19 different cases, and it kind of came out of nowhere. And at the time, you thought, or at least your attorney said, that he thought there was a decent chance either Purdue or LSU might be willing to hire you, and then that just totally went away. How frustrating was it to have that story appear in the Wall Street Journal?
It was devastating. I mean, professionally, no doubt, and personally. But because we were in on the mix on a few jobs at that time, and I just didn't see, I didn't see the purpose of it. I mean, Baylor they'd terminated me. I was gone. I was not going to get in the way, and then they come out with this slanderous article of these, allegations that
that's
nobody
crazy.
had any idea of. The first time I ever heard about it was when I read it in the Wall Street Journal. And
Damn.
I guess they had knowledge of it and we didn't. And to me, if they had knowledge of it, they need to investigate it and take care of whatever needs to be taken care of.
And this is crazy because this was actually it was actually making its way to national news. Like, it got to This Is America, freaking Good Morning America. Like, it was making, this was national news. So it blew up a lot bigger than I thought. Like, it went from ESPN2 to to freaking ABC. Like, it was making this news everywhere. So it was absolutely crazy.
But that was it's a situation where it's just then your back was against the wall, but the wall's down then, and it just devastated everything.
We're talking to Baylor, a former Baylor football coach, Art Briles. So, as a part of that process, that comes out later that Baylor had a whole heck of a lot of problems with Title IX and sexual assault allegations.
The Clary Act, yes.
Yeah. And in fact, there were around 100 different issues that had been pointed to at Baylor involving, Title IX or sexual assault related issues, and only 5 of them involved Baylor football players. Now,
yes.
I mean, I'm not a genius, but that's a pretty small percentage of the overall issue at Baylor. Do you feel like in many ways they used you as the scapegoat to try to distract people from all the other cases that were going on that had absolutely nothing to do with your football program at all?
Well, Clay, you don't have to even read between the lines on that. I think people form their own opinions, and that's a telling fact. And it's not a fiction, it's not a myth, it's not an opinion, it's a fact, and that's what we were dealing with. And I think, I just think the media pressure was on the Board of Regents so strongly that they felt like, they had to do something to try to squelch it, and they did.
When you watch a Baylor football game now, and I'm not sure how often you do, I'm not sure how much you watched with Matt Rule, do you root for Baylor still? Do you watch college football much, or is it?
All right, we can cut it right there. But yeah, like, it's crazy. Yeah, but that's it in a nutshell. You know what I'm saying? And I'll say this. I will say this though about the hire. Grambling want to win games. This is a quick way to Grambling State wanting to win games, and that's all it is. Like, he ain't gonna have to deal with the media. I'm pretty sure Hugh Jackson, for the moment, isn't gonna let him speak to the media. Like, they're not gonna do that. Matter of fact, this is probably the last time that he spoke about the details that happened at Baylor. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is, look, I think this is extremely monumental, for Grambling. I think Grambling is really trying to make a statement because, look, with the pieces that Grambling already has on offense, like, with Art Briles and his offensive mindset, like, this, dog, yeah, this could work. Like, dog, yeah. Grambling got themselves a good one. And, I'm going to say this. Like, I just hope that the students at Grambling are comfortable enough to have him as a coach. I mean, I don't know how that works. Like, I never played, football. I've never had teammates to get themselves in that kind of trouble, so I never really had to deal with that. But look, man, like, I just hope he's able to be on campus comfortably. I just hope the students won't be uncomfortable when they see him on campus or whatever. Like, even though like he ain't doing anything, I just hope that the students there are comfortable. But look, man, look, Grambling. Let me say this: y'all have yourself a good coach. Y'all have yourselves a winning offensive coordinator, like for sure. So I wouldn't, like, worry about the past. You know what I'm saying? Look, and I'll say this: look, black people are the most forgiving. So we gotta leave it at that. But I think Grambling's gonna win many games, especially with this guy at offensive coordinator.